Hey, Nikki Sanders here with Nikki Sanders Leadership Consulting. Welcome back to the More Than Social Work with Nikki Sanders YouTube channel. And today I want to just talk about one of the things that is a regular part of my life. I am always in reflection mode. Truth is, I question my life quarterly, like really question my life quarterly. Like, do I want to do this thing anymore? How much longer do I want to work with this population? What is next for me? And sometimes that is a result of a specific thing that may have sparked it. But sometimes it's just because I do it so often that every 3 or 4 months, I start to get this energy, like check in with yourself and see if this is something that you really want to continue to do, or if you want to put your life in a different direction. So there are 3 things that have happened recently that I want to share with you, and I want to share the takeaway from each of those things. So the first thing is that a month or so ago, I was surprised, very surprised, to receive the Inspiring Adjunct Faculty Award at one of the universities where I teach. And super surprised, not because I don't do a great job, but because I just was not expecting it. So I was doing the work, but I was not expecting an award or a reward for doing the work. That has been a pattern, right, that I have worked through and worked over for quite some time. So I got the award, and one of the things that I said is, hey, this bio is all true, and I didn't even have to write it. And so I read the bio and I was like, oh, that is me. But the truth is, I do those things. And I used to say things like, I'm just doing my job, or I'm just doing what I do. The truth is, I am just doing what I am called to do. And I've said before, but not really paid attention to the words that I was using, that I can't not do this work. So I am doing what I am called to do. So I should not be surprised if there is an award or a reward outside of the letters and the emails and the gratitude and the thanks that I get from my interns and my students. I'm doing what I'm called to do. And so for me, that means I need to step into that. This is a part of my calling. I know that, and I knew that I would probably teach forever, but it came to me in a very different way over the last couple of days. The second thing is Facebook is changing their storage policy. So by the end of the month, all of the videos that you want, you need to download, or else videos over 90 days will be deleted. So I spent some time this week just going through all of my videos and downloading the ones that I wanted to keep. And as I was listening to myself, I'm like, I've been doing this for quite some time, right? I've been consistent, I've been authentic, I've shared my story, I've shared my knowledge. And that reminder, I didn't know that I needed, but it was great to see myself being myself in a way that is truthful and authentic to me and doing what I do, because I always say the world is my classroom. So wherever I am, I get to teach. So it was the Inspiring Faculty Award. It was doing the downloading the videos that I wanted to keep off of Facebook. And then because those things were sparking some things in me, and I was kind of in full-on reflection mode, I decided to just go to my phone using a browser I don't use. I didn't log into ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT, tell me what you know about Nikki Sanders Leadership Consulting. And it gave me back all of these things, and I was like, hey, I did do all those things, and I do all those things. That's all true. And then I asked it, what is it that makes Nikki Sanders stand out in her industry? And ChatGPT gave me specific things, and I was like, oh, right, that makes perfect sense. But we don't always see ourselves the way other people see us, even AI, right? It searched the internet for all of the things, but it made me really think back to, this is the same kind of thing that I do, and it happens with my clients. So some of you may not know that as a career coach, one of my signature products, but also services, was professional portfolio development. And so I would help my clients, whether they were teens, whether they were college students, women in leadership, adults, I would help them do portfolios. And one of the things that they would always find is like, oh my God, I really did do all these things. I'm like, yes, it's all true. And so I had that kind of it's all true moment this week with, just thinking about these things that were happening. So let me put a plug for professional portfolio development. Your portfolio is where you keep all of your career receipts, your accomplishments, your achievements, your letters of gratitude, your letters of recommendation, samples of your best work. That is where your career receipts go. So the other thing that this brought back to me is that, again, I've talked about consistency and authenticity. So whoever my client base was, I've been telling them the same thing and working with them on the same things. And it has been about empowerment, which is why I used to call myself a career empowerment coach, right? Because I wasn't just doing career development and job searching. I don't even like that. But it was about empowerment, because I understand that when people see themselves clearly and they understand all that they bring to the table, there is a certain level of empowerment, and they are able to shift their lives in different ways, access different opportunities, connect with people in different ways or in different industries. It just opens up a different world to you when you have that clarity and you can see yourself in different ways. So when I was working with teens, with the Teen Toolbox, we would talk about self-exploration and what that looks like. When I work with college students, we would talk about self-discovery. When I was working with women and women in leadership, we would talk about self-examination or self-evaluation, usually because we were trying to get you to the next level to get a promotion. So again, as I was thinking about that, I'm like, I have been consistent in doing this with everybody that I do it with. And so that brings me to this. Our words have power. And I've said that over and over and over again. Our words have power. And so when I think about what my 3 words, because if you follow me on social media, you know I do these 3 words every month. The 3 words that I would say are maybe a reflection, maybe the words mission, not really sure which word I want to use. Is it my professional mission? It is empower, teach, and connect. So empowering people, really reintroducing them to themselves, right? That clarity, working on identity. So identity and liberation have always been a part of my work. And many times it was in the background, but now I'm bringing it to the forefront because it's who I am authentically. So empowerment, teach, right? Teaching, whether it's my classroom, wherever that classroom is. If it's a formal classroom, if it's a workshop, if it is working with interns, whether it's my clients, it's empower, teach, and connect. I am a connector, and I am very intentional about building culture, connecting people to each other, building community. And a part of that empowerment, and there's an airplane, part of that empowerment is ensuring that people have what is the right word I want to use? That I build a safe space. That's what I want to say. Part of empowerment is creating a safe space for people to be seen, for people to be heard. And yeah, so since the airplane went by, I'm gonna repeat that again. Empower, teach, and connect were my words. And empowerment in terms of advocacy and creating a safe space and giving people the opportunity to see themselves in a different way and kind of rediscover themselves. Teaching, because I'm teaching wherever I go, including right now on YouTube. And connection and building community. And I always say sisterhood is self-care. So I've been very, very intentional about building community for my program participants, my staff, my clients, my students, my interns, right? So that is extremely important to me. But again, those words have power, and they have been consistent over years, like almost 30 years. I have to realize that my career has spanned almost 30 years, much closer to 30 than to 20. We are at like 26, 27, year like 26, 27 since I got my undergraduate degree. So we're 3 decades in, plus the work that I was doing while I was getting my undergraduate degree. So we are literally like 3 decades into this work. And it was important for me to kind of reintroduce or be reintroduced to myself in these different ways, because I never want to have you or any of my clients do anything that I'm not willing to do. And so for me, this was me doing exactly, because integrity is important. So this was me doing exactly what I recommend or suggest that you do, that my clients do, that my students do, that my interns do, right? So there are 3 phrases that I say all the time that are authentically me. One of them is, you can't pour from an empty cup. So as I've been talking about self-care, right? In the beginning, I was talking about stress management. I used to do moms groups, and we would talk about stress management, and we moved beyond stress management to self-care, self-love, self-preservation. But again, it is a lifestyle, and it is something that is important. So I've been talking about that in the background, and I'm bringing it a little bit more to the front. And I've been bringing it to the forefront over the last few years with my own experiences around compassion fatigue and professional burnout. But now I'm being even more intentional, because remember, I said I am doing what I am called to do. So again, and protect your peace, especially in human services, social work, social services. Like, you have to protect your peace. You can't come to every battle and ready to fight. You have to be intentional and strategic. And that also looks like knowing that you are doing everything that you are supposed to do, not being so hard on yourself, that kind of thing. And then the third thing, this is actually funny, and I'm looking at my outline, right? Not talking from a thing, but looking at my outline. The third thing that I say all the time is absolutely not, right? Because no is not enough. So absolutely not. And usually that's when something is just so outrageous that I'm like, absolutely not. And me protecting my peace is like, absolutely not. Like, those things are so consistent and so authentic to me that you can go back 10 years and somebody will tell you that I said those things to them. So here are the concepts, themes that I have come back to me in a more direct way over the last week, because I was in this reflection mode, and I'm going to look at it only because I want to make sure that I say them. So one is that empowerment. I have always built my career on my own terms and helped my clients, my students, my interns, my staff do the same thing. You don't have to follow the plan that society has for you. You don't have to build the career that your mama told you to, that your field supervisor told you to. You get to build your career on your own terms, and you are empowered to do that. That is important to me. Again, the bugs. I am the boundaries queen. It was not that other people weren't respecting my boundaries. It was me not respecting my boundaries. So boundaries look like lots of things. It looks like, here comes another airplane. Boundaries look like me owning my name, right? So and even on social media, right? So when I had an employer, if I used social media for my employer, it was Nikki at whatever that place is. So Nikki at Nikki Sanders Leadership Consulting, right? It was never my name. My name has always belonged to me. That is a boundary. Having a separate personal phone from my work phone, respecting work hours, work schedule. Another part of boundaries, this is really important, is knowing that sometimes you are planting seeds. We are not here to rescue people. We are sometimes planting seeds, and knowing that you've done all that you can do, and somebody else is going to have to come behind you and water those seeds that you have planted. Advocacy, again, safe space, speaking up, advocating. I do not do bullies. I hate it. And wherever I go, I am going to make sure that I am shifting the culture in a way that is healthy and makes sense for me, and that I'm showing up and being the light. Authenticity, I told you about that. Everybody knows I love cupcakes. You know I love New Edition. But I want to say this is really important. When we think about authenticity, you know, most people think about, I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna keep it real, I'm not code switching. Let's go beyond code switching for a second. Airplane. Let's go beyond code switching for a second, because here's the truth. Sometimes when we are not showing up fully in these professional spaces, it's not because we're code switching or we think we aren't good enough. It's because we see and understand that everybody does not deserve full access to us. So keep that in mind. Everybody does not deserve full access to you. Again, boundaries and authenticity. The second is credibility, right? You know, I was like clarity, credibility, capacity, or congruency, but credibility is important. Be competent, right? We are good at what we do. Like, I am doing my job. Nobody can say that I'm not. Knowing like crisis intervention, right? Like, I'm clear. I'm not a clinician. I'm not a therapist, but I will manage a crisis. I will intervene, and then I am competent enough to know when I have stepped beyond what I am capable of doing and doing well, and make that referral to another place. And it's also about clients having agency, me not making them dependent on me, making sure that people are a part of and leading their own rescue. So again, credibility, your name means something. So my name means something to me. And then the last part, again, self-care, right? I've been talking about that literally for over a decade. One of my staff that I haven't supervised in 6 years, right, still tells the story that when I did the interview with her, one of the questions that kind of stumped her was, I asked her, how does she practice self-care? That was a standard interview question for me nearly a decade ago. And she's like, Ms. Nikki asked me that before self-care was like a buzzword, right? Because this is who I am, and it is what I do. And so when I'm talking about soft life, and soft leadership, and soft success, we can talk about work-life balance. These are things that have been a part of me, who I am personally and professionally. And so I would say over this last week, I've been reintroduced to myself, my work, my accomplishments, my achievements in a very different way. So Google yourself, right? That's what we used to say, like, Google me, right? Now we're like, chat GPT me. So yes, I have been reintroduced to myself in a different way. And I'm going to challenge you to take some time to go get reintroduced to yourself. Ooh, that is a bug that I have never seen before. So, all right, so I am definitely about to leave because I don't know what kind of bug that was. So it is time for you to also get reintroduced to yourself. This is Nikki Sanders with Nikki Sanders Leadership Consulting. Leave me a question or a comment in this video. Share with me what you find out, or what are the consistent themes or concepts that you have had throughout your career and life. And again, I am not just doing what I do, I'm doing what I've been called to do. See you later. Bye.